Well, Mace, lining up and on the verge of your 100th game coming up, wanted to take a look back throughout your career and to the point where you are today. So maybe starting first back in your SA days, what were your earliest footy memories?
My earliest footy memories was probably going back to the Milestone Footy Club. Started Auskick there and then come up through the juniors and was lucky enough to play. Well, not lucky enough, we probably didn't really have too many numbers at that point, but played 2 years in the seniors there, which is a time in my life that I really enjoyed. I was 15 and 16 playing in the seniors with lots of the guys I looked up to when I was playing juniors, so it was a very cool time in my life playing at Milestone Footy Club. And post-career, I can't wait to get back there and pull on the Saints jersey again.
Got selected with pick 30 in the 2014 national draft, and you debuted in round 7 2016, so obviously had that time developing. You know, what was that like to finally get to that achievement of debuting for an AFL club?
It was an awesome feeling and awesome time for me at the footy club. Sort of when you're in your debut week, it almost feels like nothing else matters. Like that's what you've spent your life trying to do. Obviously, spend your life trying to get drafted, and then it quickly changes to the next thing, which is making your debut. And then, I was pretty stoked to get a debut against Sydney up there. They had many good players that we played against. Got to, obviously, my debut play against Buddy Franklin and types like these. So it was pretty cool, but I realised pretty quickly, I think, that I wasn't up to the standard of AFL at that point. I was probably lucky that looking back in hindsight, it was obviously a terrible time for the club, but for me personally, it was, I don't think I would have debuted that year if the boys, if we didn't lose the boys to the ban. So I debuted and then by my third game against St Kilda, I make a good joke that I had two touches and $1,000 fine that day, and spent 2 years after that in the VFL, which I deserved after that performance. But it was good. It was awesome for me to realise that the jump up that was required to play at the AFL level, and then worked hard. And by the time I got my next shot in 2018, I felt like I was ready, and I feel like I've proven that I was ready. So.
Well, in 2019, after obviously that lean period in the seniors, you did have that breakout season. So what clicked in that year?
Well, I feel like the click happened for me the year before. I spent that time in the VFL, 2 years out of the AFL side, and felt like I was able to work really hard with the development coaches, Mark Corrigan, Dan Jordan, Paul Corrigan, these sort of guys who aren't here anymore, but I credit a lot of my growth to those guys. James Kelly as well was playing at that point, but he had a lot of info and obviously a lot of experience for me to lean on. So those guys were massive help for me. And then, I was able to get in mid-2018 and play against Brisbane and then West Coast. And I felt like I belonged at the level of AFL. Got in and played alongside guys like Hurls, Hooksy and BJ in the back line, who were really calm heads for me, and was able to get in there and just play my natural game for those couple of games. And I did my ankle against West Coast in the second game, but I felt like I would have played the rest of the year in 2018. And then obviously had a couple of injuries in the back end of 2018, a few surgeries, but then I knew the whole time throughout my rehab process that I belonged at AFL level. So I knew that if I could get my body right and get back, I'd be able to earn my way back into the team. And I was able to do that in round 3, I'm pretty sure. Came back in and was just able to get some good games under my belt and really enjoyed that year, and then sort of just grown from there.
And last season, obviously, it was probably your best year, 4th in the Crichton Medal and the most improved player reward. How was that for you to go through and be recognised in that way?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think probably credit, obviously, the growth period that I spoke about at the start of my career, and then I'd say 2020, as much as it was a tough year off the field for reasons that everybody knows, I was struggling a little bit with just where I was at with footy. I had a few injuries that many people probably didn't know was going on, and I was really struggling to find my place in the team, and I was probably putting a lot of pressure on myself and that sort of thing. And so yeah, credit a lot of. And then it's sort of coming out of that year, I've able to put back-to-back pre-seasons together. My third pre-season this year, touch wood, where I haven't had too many setbacks. And I feel like I've been able to grow into it. I think the training that I've been able to get into and that sort of thing in the pre-seasons has been probably what I would credit my growth to. Like in my first 5 years, I was interrupted, never finished a pre-season, was always injured. And it sort of stagnated me a little bit. And then, coming into the last few years, I think my body's finally matured and got used to the load. So, I haven't got injured. So, I think I can look to grow again this year, hopefully grow my on-field leadership and work with the other senior guys in the team to hopefully take this team forward to bigger and better things, because I know we're working very hard. I know every team's working hard, but I like to think we're working just as hard as all of them, and I feel like if we can keep our heads down, hopefully the reward will come.
Now, it'd be remiss of me not to ask about the Hellboy celebration and the long bombs outside 50. It's become a very vital part of your game. How did that start, and where did you want to carry that on to?
Well, it started just with my mate back home. He did the celebration. I've sort of adapted now. Lots of people think it's dog ears for Red Dog, but people can make of it what they will. As long as it brings a smile to little kids' faces, they seem to do it back to me in the crowd and that sort of thing. It was only meant to be a one-time thing, but had a few kids and stuff do it to me that week, and sort of just continued on. If it brings a positive energy to one person, I'll continue doing it. So as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, I'll continue doing it, and hopefully I can kick some more long goals outside 50. So
we won't say no to that, mate. And finally, obviously on the verge of your 100th game, how does it feel to go from, as you put, the two disposal, $1,000 fine game into now playing in a century milestone?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. As I said, like when you get drafted and you move on to the next thing, which is your debut, and then you try to move your focus to being a consistent AFL performer. And then obviously the milestones will fall after that if you take care of being a good player or trying to be a good player. But yeah, it's pretty cool to look back on my journey, and then you're always aiming for 100 games, 150 games, 200 games, and to be able to tick off 100 games is something I'll be very proud of, and be able to look back on in the future with a big smile on my face. And I think when I have kids, they'll be able to be eligible for father-son or father-daughter, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, I do it for my family and myself and all the kids and stuff back home. So hopefully I'm up on the, I don't know where we're playing, but hopefully I'm out on the ground making them very proud. So it'll be something very special for me.
Mace, congrats. Go well.
Cheers, Bryn. Thank you very much.